The Great Lakes region has experienced pockets of violence and instances of political instability. This has led to the critical examination of the root causes of conflict with the aim of reducing and eventually ending violence within our borders. In some instances, violence has spilled over to the neighboring countries. As a result, the problem ceases being one of one country and becomes a concern of the entire region. When this happens, and we have sittings like this, we look at what we need to do, and it is for these reasons that our respective countries come together at a forum such as this to address issues, weaknesses, and challenges that contribute to violence systematically, structurally, and institutionally. It requires a holistic approach. The fight against impunity requires the concerted efforts of our countries. We need to establish strong institutions that are equipped to fight impunities bedeviling us as they remain a threat to the security of the region. I note that during this conference, we will be addressing the thorny issue of sexual and gender-based violence. The perpetrators of impunity have persistently taken advantage of weak judicial systems in the region to perpetrate human rights abuses, including sexual and gender-based violence. Our objective as government is to create a peaceful and stable region that is devoid of sexual and gender-based violence. A region where women, girls, and vulnerable members of society are empowered to participate in peace building and economic development and enjoy equitable access to the benefits of sustainable development. It is my hope and prayer that we will come up with favorable declaration and roadmap that will guide our future efforts in maintaining peace and stability by promoting access to justice and promoting and protecting human rights. And stability by promoting access to justice and promoting and protecting human rights. Distinguished delegates, allow me to finish my opening remarks with the words of Franklin Roosevelt. Freedom means the supremacy of human rights everywhere. Our support goes to those who struggle to gain those rights and keep them. Our strength is our unity of purpose. To that high concept, there can be no end save victory. I wish us all productive deliberations within the course of these 3 days as we strive to achieve our common objectives of ensuring security, stability, and development in our region. Africa has the ability of averting crisis through consultations with one another. These consultations, this forum included, come up with solutions aimed at helping us strengthen our institutions at the national level and turn into ensuring peace and security in the region as well. Strong institutions are also key in protecting and upholding human rights of our citizens. Respect for human rights can only be possible where there is respect for the rule of law. We must, therefore, strive to ensure that we have strong systems that promote the rule of law within the region. Yes, I think the Kampala Declaration way back in 2011 was clear that as a region we adopt zero tolerance to gender-based violence, and it's a commitment to all of us as governments to ensure that we achieve this, to ensure that we work together. And meeting here today, we want to compare experiences to see where we have done well and where we need to pull up our socks. And we are happy that from the conference, there are candid talks. There are those who are saying, yes, the declarations have been made, commitments have been made, but what we need now is action to go beyond the resolutions of these conferences to see how we are actually implementing what was decided in Kampala. And this is what we want to see, how we can strengthen. I think we have made a lot of progress. We want to thank some of our great legislators, like Justice Njoki Ndung'u, who brought the sexual offenses bill. We also have more leaders who have come up, legislators who are trying to address this issue. We have a new constitution that strengthens human rights, that actually expands our Bill of Rights. It's one of the most progressive constitutions, not just in Africa but in the world. I was very privileged to have been the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs during the implementation of this constitution. So today I'm very happy to come here to meet other ministers of justice to see what we can do together as a region, as a people, to ensure that we strengthen human rights. And that's why we're here today. Thank you.
We're very clear about ending impunity and the observance of human rights as a basic to the establishment of peace and security in the Great Lakes region. So this is an opportunity to review the progress that has been made, and a lot of progress has been made, especially the establishment of the Kampala Center on the sensitization of matters SGBV, sexual and gender-based violence. Now, this is a center of excellence that brings together all actors in that field, be they magistrates, be they police, be they men and women in uniform, be they members of the Fourth Estate, so that matters of SGBV can be looked at in a holistic manner, across the whole region. So we are certainly not out of the woods, but we've done well considering where we started when the pact was signed in 2006. Yes, of course, like in other spheres of society, we have challenges. But through the establishment, for instance, of the Judicial Cooperation Network, it brings together all the players in this field from across the 12 countries, member states of the ICGRL. And the challenges is that we are a developing part of the world. There are infrastructure, there are resource issues, but through coming together occasionally, as we do in a meeting such as this, we are able to compare and the best practices from across the region, and also chart out the path that still needs to be taken.
Yeah, thank you again. From my statement, I'm sure you heard I was very passionate about this issue of sexual gender-based violence that has been quite shameful for the region. Unfortunately, when you read the news, the statistics are glaring, especially when they say 2 out of 3 women faces this gender violence at the domestic level, especially, of course, it's bad in the conflict situations. But as my colleague, the Ambassador Mbuli said, where we started and where we are, there's some progress. When the ICGRL was launched here 10 years ago, and of course I was the first and was given the baton, there were no things like Commission on Human Rights, Commission on Gender. There was nothing was existing then. So on that score, yes, we have done well, but then we still have a lot of unfinished business. We need to put an end to women being statistics, to put an end to women being objectification. So we are happy that it has taken a long time to gather this legal fraternity, to gather the ministers of justice. I know most of the time we have the ministers of foreign affairs, defense, security, but there was this missing link, a gap, because all these initiatives are treaty-based, and to be able to have the force of law, you need these people in the room. You need them around the table. So including having harmonized kind of legislation in fighting this sexual gender-based violence, because some of the countries have declared this is a criminal act and therefore it's punished accordingly. But you can see they see some soft gloves on. No, the governments have. That's why you have this honorable minister here spending the whole morning here. So this shows the commitment. There is, of course, commitment, political will, but it's still lacking. As I was saying, we make commitments like zero tolerance, which has been underlined by the minister through the Kampala Declaration, but most times there is zero attention. So this is one of the meetings or conferences that we want to bring these issues to the fore, and that we need more action. We know the why, we know the what, we know when and where it has happened, but then the how to address the implementation deficit.
I'm here representing survivors of rape that were violated during the post-election violence of 2007-2008, and many of them who got children from those rapes. We've been seeking acknowledgement from the government. Our narrative has been that since IDPs were recognized, sexual and gender-based violence survivors have not been recognized up till to date, and they've never been given any form of humanitarian support. So today in this meeting, ICGRL, I just want to see and want to hear that what it is that they actually preach, that they actually practice, because I'm here as a testament that many of the women that were violated during that time have never been acknowledged, have never been supported, and 10 years down the line, nobody still wants to talk about sexual violence that took place during the 2007-2008. We've been petitioning Parliament, the AG's chambers, and the Senate on implementing the TGRC, which first of all had the survivors section in them, which was under priority A as a very vulnerable group, and that has never happened up till to date. And so I'm here also just to hear what it is that they're going to say about survivors of sexual and gender-based violence, not just policy talk, but I actually want to see some of the actions and the activities that they're going to put on the ground. Thank you.
Des crimes contre l'humanité, ainsi que de toute forme de discrimination pour la République démocratique du Congo et la région. Et les acquis du partenariat fructueux et continu de coopération judiciaire du Grand Lac en 2016 par les pays de coopération judiciaire du Grand Lac, beaucoup reste à faire. On a recherché dans le renforcement des institutions marche visant à renforcer l'état de droit. Car des intervenants et des participants, je n'ai et dans l'immédiat est un vœu pieux afin de formuler des recommandations et des propositions.